So, we will start with Adobe Illustrator. We will create our splines for the glass and the bullet, which we will then put in Cinema 4D into lathe NURBS. If you probably know what lathe NURBS is, but if you don't, I'll show you in a second, because Illustrator has a pretty similar function where you can basically check if your spline or path looks okay. Anyway, let's create a new file, and the scale pretty much doesn't matter. And okay, so I'll show you what a lathe NURBS is. Let's create a shape with the pen tool, any shape, and now let's make this transparent, and the outline will be like 50% gray. Let's make it exactly 50 because I suck like that. Anyway, let's go into Effects, 3D, and Revolve. Here we check Preview, and now you see we have pretty much created a shape by revolving the spline around the point where the two anchor points are above each other. They should be exactly above each other, or otherwise it will create problems. Anyway, the axis that runs through these points is the axis around which it will rotate. So as you see, it basically creates a 3D shape based on that spline, which defines the profile of it. Anyway, let's throw this away and create our glass. So we'll start with the base like this. Holding shift basically gives you 45 degree control over the angle of your points. So like this. Now we'll go into the leg, and the leg should be straight, so let's hold shift again here. And now, before we do the top, if you look at glasses, usually they have sort of a spherical shape and then they become straight from that. So it's basically pretty close to a sphere and then straight. So we'll use a sphere as a reference. We of course could use a reference image, but I won't, for two reasons. First, I'm not sure if using something I found on Google won't create some copyright issues with me putting it into the tutorial, and second, I didn't use any reference in the animation when I did it anyway, and it looked perfectly fine, so there's really no need to that. And you'll never know when you'll need to create a profile of a glass by hand. No, that was not a proper joke. Anyway, let's create our sphere. That should be fine. Move it up a little bit and lock this layer so we don't accidentally select it. Let's continue this path here, like this, and maybe a little bit closer, like this. Then we continue copying the sphere, maybe a little bit higher, like this. It doesn't need to be perfect. As you can see, they're getting closer around here, but it's a detail, a useless detail. Let's create the lip, or whatever it's called, right here. Let's make it a little bit cleaner like this. The wall should be pretty thin. Now let's continue it down here, and the wall should be approximately the same thickness all the way. Otherwise it will create weird refractions when we use it later in Cinema 4D. Anyway, maybe let's put this anchor point a little lower. Fix this a little bit, and now let's close it down like this. Oh, whoops. Again, like this, and close it at the edge here, Let's make this layer invisible and maybe put this a little bit lower. Straighten this like so. That should be fine. Maybe fix, where is the anchor point? Here. Let's fix this a little bit, and the thickness here is a little off. Let's see. Still some adjustments needed. Put this maybe a little bit higher. Yeah, I think this should be fine, except for the top of the leg right here. Anyway, let's take this and check. 3D revolve. Preview. The top needs to be higher and the leg needs to be thinner. So let's select these 2 points right here, move them in a little bit, maybe adjust this a little, adjust this anchor point as well, and let's take these points, move them down a little, excuse me, and take these two top right here and move them up. So let's select it again, 3D revolve, preview. That's starting to look a little bit better. I still I think I don't like the edge right here. It should be a little bit smoother. The top should be thinner. Just maybe the lip should be thinner, and this edge should perhaps be a little bit sharper. So let's go here, fix this, and move this down. Let's make this a little shorter. Move this down some more. Move this one down. And the lip, let's move it in a little bit and fix it right here. And here. So let's check again. Preview. That's a little bit too thin, and let's see. And I forgot to make this one, this edge right here, I forgot to make that smoother. So let's fix this. This is too thin, so let's move it out a little bit. And let's move this out. Move this down, perhaps. Still a little sharp. Maybe like this, perhaps. Make this longer. Let's check again. 3D revolve, preview. Better. Starting to look a little bit better. Let's check. Let's turn it around a little bit. The lip needs, I think the top is a little bit too high and the lip should be more inside. I moved it out a little bit too more. And perhaps the leg should be bigger. So let's take the whole thing, make this smaller, move, make the leg higher. So let's move these up. Let's check now before we do anything else. Maybe this will work. Let's see. No, the base is definitely too big. So let's move these 2 points right here a little in. Make this thinner perhaps. .3D revolve. Starting to look better. I think the base is too small now, so let's move these out just a little bit. Maybe these in. Select it again. Let's see. That is starting to look better. Maybe, what should I do? Let's try to make the like higher, perhaps. Select it again, effect 3D revolve. I think this is pretty fine. Maybe the base should be a little bit bigger. Let's see. Like this. Effect 3D revolve. Yeah, I think this is fine. This looks good. Maybe make the leg a little bit shorter. Just a little bit. Check again. Yeah, I think this is perfect. Almost perfect. Let's take these and move them in just a tiny little bit. Let's see again. Move them in some more. We need some adjusting right here. That's worse. That is worse. Like this. Yeah, let's see. Yeah, I think this is fine. No. Move them out. Good. Check again. And again and again until it stops looking terrible. Yeah, I think this is fine. Let's save this. So, we need to make sure it has no fill, that the fill is transparent. Anyway, let's save this. And let's make it glass 1 spline. Save. And now we need to save it as Illustrator 8 file because otherwise Cinema 4D won't accept it. So let's save that. And now let's make the bullet. So we'll make a new file. Now there's an important thing about bullets. A lot of people use in animation, artwork or whatever, they use this as a bullet, which is wrong because this is the whole cartridge. Only this part in front is the bullet, and the cartridge contains the bullet and the gunpowder. Basically, when you fire the gun, the gunpowder ignites and pushes the bullet out of it, and the shell just is ejected from the gun. So when there is a bullet actually flying, when it is already shot, it is just this front part, just the bullet, not the whole cartridge. If you have shots of perhaps, I don't know, some cartridges falling out of a machine gun, then you use only this back part, the cartridge, sorry, the shell. But if the projectile is just the bullet, so we need to make sure we make just the bullet and not do the same mistakes as many people before us. So let's select 50% transparent fill, and we'll start with the back, make it rounded just a little bit, the corner here, make the sides rounded a little bit as well, not that much, and maybe shorter, like this, and the front, and make it a little bit longer perhaps, a little bit more. So let's see, take this, 3D revolve. Yeah, that is pretty fine, only we need to make it a little thinner probably. Let's see. Yeah, I think this is good, only the sides should be a little bit more straight perhaps. Move them in a little bit, straighten this out a tiny bit. This is too much, this is way too much. Let's try again. Revolve preview. Let's perhaps make it a little bit shorter. See again. I think this is pretty fine. Yeah, this is okay. So let's save this. Bullet one spline. Save Illustrator 8, and I'll see you in Cinema 4D.